Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. We sure do have a treat for you. We're going to ask Mr. Soulje, well, we think it's a treat. Going to ask Mr. Soulje about your winter forecast.
Yes.
Now, we want you to take us through December, January, February.
In short, La Nina, really more of a character building.
La Nina means a tougher winter? Is
A
that
tougher
it?
winter, more
Okay.
character building.
I
Yes,
always
we know
wonder
it
what
gets
you mean.
cold, we know it snows, but more of that stuff. And
So this may be a good old-fashioned winter.
another way to put it, exactly. So on to the maps and charts, and we've broken it down to early winter, midwinter, and late winter. So this is sort of the December to very early January outlook, and it's a roaring jet stream, by the way, now and the foreseeable future into the western part of the hemisphere. So that kind of moderates and warms the atmosphere a bit. The cold polar low for now, as it ought to be for the time of year here. So a bit below through the upper Midwest, the Northeast and New England, kind of a compaction of these temperatures from normal here to above across California, the southern plains, and the Gulf Coast area. So you tend to get an active weather pattern. Yes, we get these ice storms, and yes, we get snow and we get cold, but propensity for kind of a busier setup this year. And this is relatively good news. While it will be stormy and may come with some flooding issues, moisture is on the increase for the Pacific Northwest, snows for the upper Midwest. Hopefully we can get some of that moisture to percolate into these dry soils through the upper Great Lakes region, the Northeast and New England. Problems, as you would expect, for La Nina, Texas, and over the southwestern part of the country. That's the look at early winter across the country.
Greg, take us towards midwinter. Does that jet stream remain in place?
It basically does, but it kind of begins to settle and propagate on southward, and that is the problem because it allows this Arctic air, this cold air, finally to settle on southward with a little more really traditional, typical, maybe at times cold wave weather pattern focused here through the Canadian Prairie, the Lakes region, St. Lawrence River Valley. Look at the extent of the below average temperatures from Big Sky into the Northeast of New England. A short distance where temperatures are really going to vary on weather systems from the Intermountain West across the southeastern part of the country. The warmth, the place to escape, is over the southwestern part of the country. But you get this setup and you get this kind of weather pattern, again, focused in the Pacific Northwest, not California, not the Southwest, but a stormy setup into the northern Rockies. Frequent snows, livestock managers, southern Canadian Prairie, up across the Dakotas. Frequent snow and ice and rain systems, northern through eastern Corn Belt locales, and some of that moisture as well into the southeastern part of the country. So we settle the jet stream southward along with the cold air, and the weather pattern gets more active and stormier as well in midwinter.
You mentioned the Canadian Prairie. It strikes me it's going to be kind of a tough winter through there, the way it looks with all of the very cold temperatures, maybe in Manitoba, Ontario, Saskatchewan.
That's right. Again, a place that's traditionally cold, but even more so than usual. And we get some dislodging of the polar vortex here, as it normally is here, begins to propagate westward, a retrogression of the weather pattern. Yes, it does back up from east to west at times, and then a whole really opera configuration. So here it is, the jet stream pattern across northern California, central parts of the plain states into the eastern part of the country. Again, a short compaction of these temperatures here, the warmth down across the Gulf Coast. So it's a roaring jet stream pattern buckled here across the west and over parts of the Appalachians. And so you get this particular setup. More storminess, Pacific Northwest, an absence of significant moisture. Again, watch the drought situation and probably the Santa Ana conditions in Southern California. So fire potential there. Worsening drought, southern plains. We'll keep it even keeled in the moisture department, drought-wise, central plains. But look at the extent of storminess and maybe some cold wave weather pattern outbreaks too for the Carolinas. Significant moisture here, lots of snow and ice for the northern and eastern Corn Belt, the Northeast and New England, and again a stormy weather pattern for the southern Canadian Prairie and the Pacific Northwest. So the deeper we get into winter, the more problematic it becomes for outdoor work and livestock managers, and a very active weather pattern too. We'll take a look at next week's forecast coming up.